Hi everybody, this is Joseph Sharon and I'm back again with another book review. I just recently read Lisa Sheridan's Con and Conjure, which is actually part of the Rain Benares novel series. And as you can tell, she does look pretty much like a privateer, does she not? But she's what is known as a white crow, or a person that has psychometry. A person who has psychometry is a very gifted individual, very rare, who can take an object and they can tell you who used it, what they used it for, what era it came from, whether it was whether the person who held it was murdered, um, etc. They pick up all the energy from said object. And I actually wrote a story that was similar. It wasn't dark fantasy, it was just paranormal. It's called Copper Heart. I'm very proud of it, and it's actually up on Kindle. And I think it's actually one of the better paranormal stories I've written in a long time. But nonetheless, Rain, she's a very intriguing character. Her ex is involved in this story. It's a series, but it ends on a cliffhanger, just like Green Eye Demon did. Even though Green Eye Demon is an entirely different series of itself, but I just did a review of that. So, um, Con and Conjure is extremely intriguing because it's a comedy of errors, of an adventure, actually a misadventure of sorts, because you've got Rain, who is a seeker. They call her a seeker. And she is in a family that basically are a bunch of thieves. And it's very ironic and humorous in that way. It's very tongue in cheek, and the way Lisa writes about it is actually quite funny. And of course, there's a stone that she uses, and it activates her more primal nature, and she loses herself, and she's a mage, and it may actually consume her if she uses it too much. So she has to be very conservative in her use of the stone and of itself. And I never encountered that in a story before. It's very interesting. But it makes sense, that whole saying, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Um, as I said before, my only nag is, of course, it ends on a cliffhanger. I don't know how the series is going to end. I may never know if my friend doesn't have the final books in the series in and of themselves. I liked it extremely well. It was written spectacularly. I can't say that much about Rain Benares, other than she's a character that she's very flawed, but she's very resolute, and she knows what she wants, and she goes about it in a very direct way. Sometimes it might be considered slightly impulsive, but she's got a good head on her shoulders. Yeah, she makes mistakes, but she's humble enough to admit that she makes them. She's not one of those people that will make the statement that, oh, it was actually my partner's fault. She'll take the blame for the mistake, which I think is very telling of her character. I really don't have that much else to say about Con and Conjure, other than it's a very interesting story. It gave me vibes of Dresden Files. I don't know why. It felt similar, just because, maybe because of how snarky it was, and how cleverly and wittily written it, and all the dialogue. I mean, the dialogue really reminded me of Dresden Files, which I absolutely love. I adore the Dresden Files. And one of my hopes is actually to see the TV series, which I had on DVD, but I had to sell it. I had wanted to see it for a long time, and I'm not even sure if Dresden Files are ever going to be finished, because I forget what the last book was called, but anytime a Dresden book comes out, I think, oh, I have to read it, because it's one of my favorite fantasy series of all time, amongst others. But can't really say that much about Con and Conjure, other than just it's a sparkling testimony to what really good writing is, and it's very engaging. It's the type of story where you don't want it to end. You just keep wondering, well, what now? It is just so exciting and and riveting. Every page that I was into, that I read, I could not put it down, and it was utterly too short for me, sadly to say. I really don't have that much else to say about Con and Conjure, other than if you're a fan of dark fantasy, pick it up, because it's one of those books that you'll just be completely mesmerized by it. Lisa really knows how to weave a rollicking yarn. But that's pretty much all I have to say for now. So, till next time, live long and prosper. Ciao, tutti.